Alright, let's dive into something that's been making headlines lately, the Origin Energy data leak. But here's the thing, this isn't just another story about a company getting hacked. What makes this really interesting is how it's forcing us to confront some uncomfortable truths about cybersecurity in 2023. Personally, I think this incident is a wake-up call, not just for corporations, but for all of us who have our lives tied up in the digital world. First off, let's talk about the scale of this breach. Origin Energy notified 900,000 customers that their data was exposed. That's a massive number, but here's where it gets even more unsettling. This isn't even the largest breach Australia has seen. Companies like Optus and Medibank have had leaks affecting millions. So, why does this one feel different? In my opinion, it's because Origin is a power company. When a utility provider gets hit, it feels closer to home, literally. It's not just your credit card info at stake, it's the infrastructure we rely on daily. This raises a deeper question: if a company that's supposed to keep our lights on can't keep our data safe, who can? Now, let's bring in the expert perspective. Associate Professor Mihai Lazarescu from Curtin University dropped a bombshell when he said, "There is no such thing as 100% security." That's a chilling statement, right? But if you take a step back and think about it, it's also kind of obvious. Every time we put our information online, we are rolling the dice. What many people don't realize is that even basic details like your email address or full name can be weaponized. Lazarescu's advice? Never give out your full name and date of birth together. It's like handing over the keys to your identity. This isn't just paranoia, it's practical wisdom in a world where data is the new currency. Here's where it gets even more fascinating. Lazarescu points out that the technical and administrative sides of security both need to be flawless for data to stay safe. But let's be real, perfection is a tall order. What this really suggests is that breaches like Origin's aren't just about hackers being clever, they're about systemic vulnerabilities. And it's not going to get better anytime soon. Lazarescu says it'll get worse. That's a bold claim, but when you consider how organized cybercrime groups are, some even involving kids as young as 11, it's hard to argue. Now, let's talk about the hidden costs of data leaks. Sure, we hear about financial details being stolen, but what about the long-term impact? Professor Yeslam Elseger from Charles Sturt University highlights that the Origin breach is more concerning than others because it exposed financial data. This isn't just about losing money, it's about identity theft, insurance premiums going up, and businesses facing additional costs. One thing that immediately stands out is how cyber insurance is becoming a necessity, but even that's getting more expensive as attacks increase. It's a vicious cycle. What's equally alarming is how desensitized we've become to these breaches. Elseger says people are numb to the drama, and I couldn't agree more. We hear about a new leak every week, and it's easy to brush it off. But that complacency is exactly what makes us vulnerable. Australians, in particular, are seen as easy targets because we're trusting, affluent, and not always tech-savvy. This isn't about blaming the victim, it's about recognizing that we need to up our game when it comes to cybersecurity hygiene. So, what can we do? Both experts emphasize the basics: strong, unique passwords, multi-factor authentication, and staying vigilant. But here's the kicker: as AI becomes more integrated into scams, even these measures might not be enough. Elseger warns that impersonation will get more sophisticated, so we need to adapt. Personally, I think this is where the conversation needs to shift, from reacting to breaches to proactively educating ourselves and others. If you take a step back and think about it, the Origin leak isn't just a story about a company's failure, it's a mirror reflecting our collective vulnerability. It's a reminder that in the digital age, security isn't just about firewalls and encryption, it's about awareness, accountability, and constant vigilance. So, here's my closing thought: what's one thing you're going to change today to protect your data? Because if we don't start taking this seriously, the next breach could be yours.